All right, we got Jason Rule here of Driven Nutrition. Man, I'm stoked to have you on today. He's been running Driven. How long you been running Driven Nutrition?
Driven 7 years old.
7 years old. Jason, we met. Where did we meet? I started asking you questions like, where did we? The only what I really remember is you came to the Barbell Mastermind,
Right.
and that's where we really connected. Yeah.
Right. So we were introduced from Kurt McMillan. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mulliken. Kurt
Mulliken.
Mulliken.
I always add that Mick at the end, so I don't know if I wish
Yeah.
he drank more Guinness or what it is. But
I
we
think he drinks
onboarded him.
plenty.
So we onboarded him, and he goes, dude, do you treat every gym owner like this? I said, yeah, like I teach them how to do retail. He goes, I've got a buddy of mine that I need to introduce you to. He goes, have you ever listened to Barbell Shrugged? I was like, well, no, I don't really listen to podcasts. He goes, well, let me make an introduction to you. Well, I think that they would probably like to hear more about what it is you do in terms of teaching people how to do retail with supplements. I was like, cool, yeah, let's see what happens. So
yeah,
that was 4 years ago.
Ooh, I think so. Yeah. One of the things I really appreciate about you is just how thoughtful you are. So not only in business, but in life. Like you're just a really genuine, authentic guy who there's no bullshit. And that's something I really, really appreciate. And you really care about the customer, and the way that you approach the industry is different than anyone I've ever met before. And so you definitely have something really special. And what I'm curious about today is because the majority of your business has been the gym industry, and a lot of, is it mostly boutique gyms, you would say, CrossFit gyms, things like that?
CrossFit gyms, mom and pop, functional fitness type stuff. Really no traditional type gyms. People getting their pump on in front of mirrors. That really isn't our jam. It's more community driven type gyms.
Cool. Yeah. So I didn't know if you'd expand it or not.
No.
There's a catch up for us because we really haven't talked that much. We touch base, I don't know, maybe once a year, something like that.
About that. Yeah.
Like, hey, are you still alive? Cool. All right. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, what's changed? What have you seen change? I mean, it's such a broad question. The last 2 months, all the gyms had to close.
Right.
Like every bit of your, all your customers basically had to stop doing business in one way, but are they still doing business in another way? What's going on there?
Yeah, they are. So actually we were in a unique situation because we started testing out systems that allowed us to post en masse for Driven. So I wanted to be able to get our social media content posted out 6 months in advance. We would be able to focus on.
I want to say one thing before we get into this, because you're starting to get into details already. Is Jason helps gyms make more money. He does. He mentioned this already, but I want to make it really clear. He does it by teaching you how to sell retail, how to do retail, specifically supplements, and has an entire supplement line that's specifically geared for that industry.
Right.
That boutique gym. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've been on a couple podcasts. I'm one of the worst shameless self-promoters, I think, of all time, because I've gone on a couple podcasts and people have been like, we didn't even tell people how to find your company. Like, do you want to tell people your website? I was like, yeah, cool. That's fine. So yes, to dive into that, a little bit of backstory. We're essentially a retail consultant wrapped around the supplement company. Our North Star is, does it help the gym owner? Does it help the members? And is it something that we have the capacity to do? Meaning, do we have the bandwidth or the technology to be able to execute on it? And so about 60 days before the COVID crisis hit, we had started perfecting being able to post on our social media 6 to 8 months in advance, so we could go and focus on something else. So we started
6 to 8 months in advance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really boring, dude. I mean, it's protein, it's creatine, it's amino acids. We've got 70 some odd products, and it's just a matter. There's only so many things you can say about it that's new, and that's really part of my problem, I guess, with the supplement industry. Anyways, is something's always latest and greatest. Dr. Oz's damn berry of the month. I mean, geez, fuck that guy. So So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
More of that,
But
please. I love it. Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So yeah, so getting that content out there was important to us. And then we started like, okay, what if we started doing this for some of the gyms we work with? So we took a pilot program together of 25 gyms where we started posting on their behalf Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it's so back to your point about what we do. We teach gyms how to sell supplements in a way that's congruent with their culture, with their ethos, right? So it's not salesy. It's not, you know, hey, buy $300 worth of shit you should never have any business taking. It's genuinely, Mike, this is where you are in your life. This is what I would recommend for you. And that's what we teach. So the messaging that we put out there for gyms was very consistent along those lines, because what I'm overly sensitive about is us posting on a gym's behalf and doing something that is going to um, make the gym look bad, because then
Mm.
that reflects poorly on us, and gym owners talk. So it was important that that message thread stayed consistent in terms of its integrity. And lo and behold, the system worked great. We saw a big boost in terms of sales, not only um, in the gyms, but also online. And one of the things I didn't mention is we have affiliate links for every one of our gyms. So we've onboarded now, I think, just under 1,700 CrossFit gyms.
Wow. So if you're not, so what Jason means by this is get an affiliate link. So it doesn't mean they actually have to buy that product inside of your shop or your store.
Correct.
They can, if you refer a client into the site, then you get a commission on that.
Right. So
Got it.
initially it's set up at 30% revenue share. I'm not a big fan of, some companies come out and they do, we're going to give half of our profits. Well, fucking define profits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who sets that? Like, put a dollar amount on it and just leave it there. Then that way it's transparent to the customer as well as to the gym. I don't like surprises. Um, so that's set up by default at 30%. And if a gym wanted us to post on their behalf, we bumped that margin to 40%. So it's to the point, very quickly we got to where we were $400 or $500 payouts per day,
which is actually really nice, because most gym owners, right, social media is a pain in their ass.
Yeah.
It's like, I need more I hear this regularly. It's like, I don't know what to post. I need more content. So,
right.
you want to be posting at least once a day. I know for the Strong Coach Instagram account, we're posting 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So
And
volume does matter to a degree.
So that's the goal that we're trying to get to, Mike, with same as what you're doing with Strong Coaches. So we're stacking. We're going 6 months out, 8 months out, but then we're doing that in the morning, and then we're stacking in the afternoon, and then we're going to export, import, and then we're going to stack one more on top of it. So that's kind of our process. Our goal is inside of about 6 months to where we have 3 posts every single day. So cool. I love that you're doing that. But yeah, it's so for gym owners, it was a time saver. They didn't have to produce the content. They didn't have to come up with it. And it really isn't that original. I mean, there's only so many things that you could talk about with protein and creatine, amino acids, and pre-workout. You need good imaging. You need the good messaging that's on point with the person you're talking to, and away you go. So yeah, that's and we wanted to reward the gyms an extra 10% that were allowing us to post on their behalf. At 30%, we were just emailing. We had automation set up where we emailed those posts and the images out to the gym. But like if you could, the coaches you work with, if you could say, hey, get out of the way, I'm just going to do all of this work for you, I'm going to give you amazing freaking results. As a business, you're going to be more successful, because they're going to get not only the amazing results, but they're going to be likely to send referrals. And I mean, they're excited because they get money, right?
Yeah.
They've got members buying product.
Yeah. I remember when I was a gym owner back in the day, it was rough, man. Like, I remember like inventory was the bane of my existence. It's like 1 month we'd have all the supplements, and then we'd have none of the supplements. We'd run out of t-shirts. We'd run out of like anything that we were selling that was not a gym membership. We were going to run out of it, because just my attention wasn't on it. Of course, I would like always wanted a cool t-shirt, and I always wanted like these awesome supplements. But the actual execution piece, man, I was weak in that area. And I I love that. I wish there was something like I remember trying to work with companies to do just get some affiliate links like what you're doing, but it didn't really never panned out very well. Like back in 2010, 2011, just the technology wasn't there. It wasn't normal practices to do things like affiliate stuff for supplements just yet. It was still
Right.
fairly new. So yeah, man, like so it's cool that you have this backup thing where the clients can go order online,
Mhm.
obviously. But how do you teach the gym owners how to manage their inventory appropriately?
Yeah, we teach them, phrases like par value, right? So a coffee shop or
I don't even know what that means.
okay, so
Par
here's
value?
par value. So
Okay.
imagine you're a chef at a restaurant. You go in on Sunday and you check your par value. You say, okay, how which basically has tomatoes and then it has line for how many you need, right? You know that you're going to need 12 tomatoes to get through the week. So that's your par value. So then you put in your count of how many do I have? So I have two. So that tells you that you need to order 10. So that's how restaurants hopefully do a good job of keeping food in stock. It's called par value. So what we do is whether they're using Zenplan or push presses, take a look at your report over the last 2 weeks, 30 days, and say, okay, how many have you sold? You need to keep that many in stock because if not, you're going to lose money. People are going to go online, they're going to order it, they're going to go to our website, our Amazon store, and yes, we actually charge a little bit more on those in Amazon and on our site than what we encourage gyms to sell it for because we want the gym owner to be able to say as an added value of being a member, we want to save you some money on these products. Um,
Yeah, that's always nice. It always sucks when you're trying to sell something and someone can go buy it somewhere else cheaper.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I lived that when I owned the retail supplement stores. Like it sucked. People going on bodybuilding.com and buying it over about my cost. Like, why would I even carry it?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. And I don't, where was I going with that, dude? I just
I
lost
was
my
just
train of
asking
thought.
about helping gym owners manage inventory
Oh yeah. Par value
because I
restaurants,
like inventory has
tomatoes.
always been a challenge. Like even to this day, like I've got all this strong coach swag I send out to people when they sign up for the program and I'll get a message from someone on my team and they're like, by the way, we need more stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta spend like 10 grand to because I gotta buy it all in bulk.
Right.
And if I don't want to spend a shitload of money, if I actually want to have a good deal.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Get a decent price on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point, and I want to point this out to gyms because where you were back in Memphis was where most gym owners are. They get frustrated, they get fed up with keeping stock. Well, one of the vicious cycles that gym owners go through is they order product $800 or $1,000 worth of stuff, and then they sell it, and then a week later they're out because Bob wants banana, and Bob's the only guy that ever buys banana.
Fucking Bob.
So yeah, fucking Bob. Bob's you weirdo, Bob. Um, so, but here's what's interesting is gym owners take a look at it and they're like, well, shit, now I got to take this money out of my pocket and I have to go buy another $800 worth of stuff. And one of the things that's frustrating, and that's one of the reasons that we developed Driven 7 years ago, is we wanted to be able to set gyms up to where they had the margin to where they could start building their inventory based off the profits of the product they sold. So they're not always having to start over. So if a gym is running at a 30 or a 35 or even a 40% profit margin, they've got to sell two to pay for the one that they use personally. That's a broken business model. So if you're making enough money, if you're making enough margin on the product you're selling, it's not hard to keep stock. It just comes down to what's the system that you need. If you are not making money, it's impossible and it's not a good idea to even keep stock because it's going to grow legs. You're going to have a product that's going to open up or just get trashed. And then you have a retail game that's losing money. And then in 2 weeks and 4 weeks, you're having to part with $800 out of your own pocket. So having a good margin, being able to keep stock, and I encourage gyms to set up a second account for retail alone. And then once it
Second
gets built up,
account? You mean like second bank account?
yeah, it's second checking account.
Treat it like a Do you treat it like its own business overall in that way or just the cash flow?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I try to instill is treat it as a business unit itself.
Yeah.
Our goal, one of the things we tout is, with the exception of members, our goal is to become the most profitable business unit of a gym.
Yeah.
So trying to teach people that it is separate, so that budget should be separate, the money coming in and going out, should
Yeah.
really be segmented specifically for that department.
Yeah. When the product is that different, I mean, this took me a while to put that one together, but like if you have supplements, they should be able to stand on their own. You know, they're not going to be, they may not factor in what the rent that part of the business is paying for the retail, but you know, if you're having to use gym membership dues to pay for, you know, new inventory, that just, I had that happen. I was like, it was just shitty. It didn't
Right.
feel good. I'm like, I want this
Right.
in my pocket. I don't want to. Okay. Yeah.
Well, and then you use it on something else. You go buy a ski erg or you buy an assault bike, and now you're out $800 or $900 and you can't buy protein because Bob wants banana and you're out of everything else. Fucking Bob.
All over again. All right. So, what have you, so you guys do the, if gym owners, you handle a lot of the social media posting for them, they're selling
Mhm.
product, they can make how much more money? Like how much money are they making? Well, I mean, you launched this right before this crisis. So it's not like we have super solid data. I mean, even if the data
Right.
is like really positive right now, or, you know, if we want to judge it as positive,
Mhm.
then, uh, it still could be temporary. Am I, you know, or it could be low. We don't know.
Or it could be impacted by momentum. You're right. We don't know. You know, what's the long tail of this? I do think that since we were testing this before COVID hit, and we had 60 days, we did have some data, and it wasn't uncommon to see a couple $100 flow to a gym every week. Now we're averaging $1,500 to $1,800 per day in terms of what we're paying out. So that that and really, to me, one of the reasons we pushed that initiative forward so hard so fast was when the COVID, when things started kind of vibrating under the ground, like, hey, something's happening here. Maybe we should stop going places. I started seeing this big spike in B2C orders. So the majority of our business is gym owners, right? So
Yeah.
we have wholesale customers and then we have retail customers. And it was here. So wholesale customers, the number of orders was up here, customers were here. And then it started creeping like this, where the customers were ordering more volume than the gyms. So what scared me is how long do the gyms have before they're going to run out of revenue, right? So okay, so if I can take the
Yeah.
money that's coming in from this, knowing that these are the guys, the gyms are the ones that built my business. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't pay for endorsements. We don't, like, they brag about us. They're the ones that are building our brand. So how do I take the money that's coming in over here and then put it over here to help? Because like it doesn't benefit us if we get all of a gym's customers and then in 6 months those gyms have to close.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is creating, I mean, how much, I mean, how much are the best gyms making off of this in a month?
The best one, so I pay out every 2 weeks. So I don't know per month.
Mm,
One had $850 in the last 2 weeks of what was it, April?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean 1,500, 2 grand is
That's
what
nice.
he'll scale out to. And we just launched it April 12th.
Yeah. That's 10 gym memberships at least, if not
Mhm.
more.
Well,
So,
and
and
like
it's
you said,
done
what's
for you.
right? Yeah, you click a
Yeah.
button and it's done for you.
Brilliant.
What's interesting though is when these gyms start opening, and some of them are, I think they're going to see more. They're going to see a stronger retail base if they've got. So if we've added 10 clients that were buying Driven Way or Berries and Greens or whatever else they may have bought from us during this time, those are consumable products that are in 25 or 30 days are going to need to repurchase. And
Yeah.
if these gyms are being proactive, which we're trying to teach and instill in them, they'll have stock. So now I think that and we're seeing a lot with people driving um, initiatives towards gift cards and stuff like that. I think that wallets are going to be fairly free flowing for the next couple months anyway. So they're going to come back to these gyms and they're going to do what they can to support them. So if you do own a gym, don't have empty shelves. Get out a dust rag, wipe them down, make them look good, and then grab some product, whatever it is you sell, and make it available.
Yeah. I'm hearing that gyms are opening up in different states right now.
Yeah.
I think Ohio. I have a few clients in Ohio that have gyms. May 26th is what I heard. is when that opens back up. I know there's a lot of other states that are starting to open back up. So what are you
Dude,
hearing?
dude, Florida just announced the 18th they're going to be opening.
Nice.
That surprised the shit out of me. 'Cause, I mean, they've been very cautious with things. I know Ohio was
They also
early
caught some
on.
shit early on. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some unpopular behavior going on down
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. That's yeah. But no, Missouri opened May 4th. That's where I am. Florida's the 18th. Yeah, just Kentucky, Virginia. I think California is going to be one of the ones that's going to roll the slowest. I think you guys are looking at July. Is that right?
Don't say you guys. I left.
Oh, that's right. You're in Utah. You're in Utah. That's right, dude.
Yeah, yeah. California definitely be one of the last.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons. I mean, I was already looking to go, but I can't say that I'm like extremely impressed with California right now. So
It's an interesting situation.
there's a lot of like hypocrisy going on. There's a lot of like, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are we shutting this down? But this is allowed. It's very,
Right.
It lacks reason. And I'm not a really big fan of reason in the first place, but this is, I say it lacks common sense. When you start like looking at like what's being shut down and what's being opened up, or what's being allowed and what's not being promoted, and I'm going, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
And I'm not a genius, but it does seem obvious. You know, there's a level of obviousness that it strikes me.
As far as the importance of getting these gyms open.
No, I'm just talking about in general. Like shutting down like parks, it's like, yeah, don't go out and like breathe fresh air, where like a virus is like 100 times less likely to spread outdoor versus indoors. It's like, come on, motherfuckers, like get your shit together. Yeah, I'm not a genius, but I do know that like shit dilutes almost instantly is when you exhale in an outdoor environment. Like, come on.
Not to mention UV rays and everything else.
People are wearing masks inside their cars. Like, it's like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. Yeah.
Yeah. There's gonna be a divergence, people. And I don't want to be in a densely populated region when it happens. But now that I've bagged on California, even my friends in California are going, Mike, yeah, I agree. So, and if they divided, I'll just talk more shit, but if they divided Southern California and Northern California, the politics would be extremely different in the South.
Is that right?
Yeah. Enough to matter.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like the Northern California drives a lot of things that Southern California just like, it's like not as interesting. Yeah. Oh man.
So
anyways,
so true story. I'm 44. I'll be 45 this year. 4 years ago, when I went out to San Diego to see you guys, that was the first time I had ever been west of Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The geography of California is legit, man. The weather's nice. The ocean's legit. It's great. So what do you see when as the gyms open back up? Obviously, clean off the shelves, make sure everything's if I walk in, I want to see clean shelf, inventory. I want to see it stacked nice. I want to see abundance. There you don't. I think one of the worst things that can happen is people walk in and it looks like you don't have there's a scarcity. You don't want to display scarcity. You want to display abundance, because that's what people want to experience right now. And if they can go to their old stomping grounds and then have that experience of abundance, that's going to feel good. It's going to make them feel safe and want to be there.
So one other thing that comes into play on that is if a business owner, a gym specifically, is saying, hey, this is an important part of our business, but their shelves look like crap. They have one protein, one bottle's laying on its side or something else, versus looking nice and stacked high. It's really, you're really letting your members know this actually isn't something I need your support on. And then the end result is the members don't buy product because they don't feel that it's important to the business, because the business isn't projecting that it is, actually following up with their words as well as their actions by keeping those products on stock and looking good. And those members, I think those members are going to want to support and spend money where they feel it can benefit the business. So that's an interesting point, that the abundance mentality attached to, does the member perceive this is actually important for this business?
Yeah. Yeah. I think about, just working with coaches is if a coach is experiencing like scarcity in different ways, it projects out, and then it doesn't feel safe to the client, whether it's online or whether it's in a gym or whatever it is. But if everything's free and easy and open and there's enough for everybody, then the client can relax. And when the client relaxes, then really, really amazing stuff can happen there.
Right. It just flows.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
What any advice to people opening the gyms? It's like, okay, the gyms are opening back up. I imagine that people are going to maintain a 6-foot social distance when working out and all this kind of stuff, or at least try to, and bleach everything. But what's some advice to some gym owners that you can see that's obvious that they should be doing?
And in regards to their gym and practice or retail?
Yeah, imagine like just in general, like say, imagine June 1, I can open my gym back up. Like, what are some things that you've been talking to the gym owners? What do you think is good for them to know?
That's a good question, Mike. So I think having some grace for the members that don't feel comfortable yet. I think it'll be interesting, and I think that this will be a divisive comment. So I'm gonna put that out there. I'm gonna send a shot over some people's bow. But I just want you to consider that there's some people that this will reflect on. Taking pictures of members hugging people with your arms around each other, I don't think that that's a good thing to do right now. Yes, I understand having members back, you want to love on them, you want to let them know how much you appreciate them, but taking those pictures and putting those out on social media, I think that that's going to send the wrong message right now. I think that that's going to level up this level of acceptance that yes, things are reaching a level of normalcy, which is going to put us in a dangerous situation, because the more normal we get now, the longer this may potentially stretch out. I'm not a scientist. I don't have any data. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. So that's why I said like this may be divisive.
I think it's good advice. I mean, the majority of any repercussions that are happening are based on what's being displayed in the media, including your social media. So it's
right. So I think being respectful of that, keeping in tune with what you're projecting out on your page, but also reaching out to the gym members that aren't comfortable yet, because I know there's a lot of members that are still continuing to pay their membership, so they're doing some type of at-home workout or outside workout or something like that. Continue to foster those relationships, because even if those members don't feel comfortable coming back today, next week, 30 days, or even 60 days, then maintaining that relationship and is going to keep that revenue coming in. But even if those members do put their membership on hold, you still want to maintain that relationship. We like for example, with us with Driven, if a gym leaves, I never shut off their wholesale account access. I never kick them out of our building retail group inside of Facebook. I want that relationship to have a foothold if they ever want to open up that door, to where I haven't burned that bridge. And I think just right now, having some grace and having conversations with members who aren't coming back, I think will pay dividends down the road.
Yeah. Do you see a consolidation coming? I mean, I know some gyms already shut down.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I do. I think that, I mean, we've talked about it before. The desire to serve your members is great, but if you don't have a business mindset where you're wanting to run a profitable business, and there's a lot of gym owners that are just now hitting that. They've been in it 4, 5, 9 years, like some of these guys I'm onboarding. There is going to be some consolidation because there's some people that either haven't woken up that, yes, this is a business, I need to generate a profit, and they may be too far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I treated it like a hobby for a good year.
Right.
And then, and I was like, oh, I got run it like a business. Shit.
Right. I can actually serve my members better if I do that.
Yeah. Strange. Hey, man, human beings, we're strange. It seems so obvious now, but it was not obvious then.
Right.
That's for sure.
What do you think is going to happen with gyms, with attrition and consolidation?
Oh man. I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are happy training at home now. That I don't think it's going to be the majority. I think there's going to be a minority of people who, yeah, it's been long enough. 2 months is long enough for things to shift. I know that anytime I put myself in a new situation for 2 months, it's about as long as it takes to be like, oh shit, life's different from now on for me. It's definitely been the case recently. But I think there's going to be, 10% of the population that goes, you know what, I'm actually really happy. I got my kettlebell set at home. I got a barbell. I got the stuff. I got a pull-up bar. I'm going to train at home. I don't really need the competition anymore. That's going to be a percentage. I think that a lot of what we're witnessing is like the online coaching industry this was a huge boom for that in regard to the supply side and the demand side. So we have like a short-term demand for online coaching. So in the short term, we have a lot of people that want online coaching. And then there were people that came in and filled that. Just like any industry, 90% is going to be like, 10% is going to be really good. The people who are doing it already or people who are going all in on online will do really well. But there'll be a percentage that the large majority will go back to the gym. But I think a lot of gym owners who were struggling before is a great opportunity to walk away. I know some gym owners that a week into this started selling their equipment. Like it registered. They go, oh, this is my time to exit. I think a lot of gym owners stick it out longer than they should because they don't want to look like a failure to their members. They don't want to let people down. There's a really good time to be able to blame something that's not themselves. When you know what, look, people, it's just pride. You can, it's causing your suffering. Let it go. And but if you need this to be a scapegoat, go ahead, use it.
Use it.
But I think that a lot because you're also going to get. There's a lot of upside to walking away from things right now. I don't know how many people got money from SBA and all that, and there's some grant money in there, and I think a lot of it's gonna be forgiven, and I think that you may be able to get money, cover your debt, and walk away from the thing clean. I think I know some gym owners are in debt. I think that's what's keeping them hanging on as well, like hoping that things will turn around at some point, and they don't want to have to do that. But yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity for gym owners that are struggling and gym owners who are doing really well to have a conversation and someone down the street is like, hey, I'll sell you my membership and let's make a deal. I've got some equipment, sell that off. So I wouldn't be surprised and the repercussions of this goes well beyond, even if everything opened up June 1 and everything went back to normal.
We got a while.
There's going to be, things are going to trickle in. There might be another resurgence of this. Dude, we don't know. And I think over the next 2 years, it's going to be really iffy. And I think we'll see, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw half the gyms close down. But here's the thing. if you want to get after it, like if you're like, fuck it, man, I'm going all in, I'm going to get after it. I don't know if 24-hour fitness actually went bankrupt. I know that there was rumors that they were. Gold's did. Gold's Gym went bankrupt. So a lot of these big box gyms, and bankrupt doesn't mean they're going away, but they're struggling. There's that model is not, doesn't hold up well in this environment. So I think there may be a big opportunity to capture a lot of people who were in the big box, to bring them into a CrossFit gym, bring them into a boutique. And because I think one of the things that people, so I have some clients that are gym owners who went online, and they were talking about going online before this hit, and this just lit the fire under their ass. And they were going to move their existing membership over, and they've got more members now. And so I think a lot of those members will come from Golds or 24-hour fitness, where these gyms where there's no community. Because when this hit, people started seeking community, and they go, I want to do a workout, so I actually need to be coached versus just having access to an unlimited amount of shiny equipment. And so I think a lot of people are going to fall in love with functional fitness at this point. People are going to see the value in having a coach. They're going to have all this stuff. So I think that if you are willing to like really get after it, there's a lot of people who are going to either going to go online from big box gym, or they're going to online coaching, or they're going to go to a small boutique gym and do that. So if you're somebody who's doing really well, I think, and is ready to put in the work, I think you can thrive on the back end of this. It's not going to happen today, but on the back end, because there's a lot of people that are going to want that community that didn't have it before. Other gyms are going to go out of business, so you're going to be able to get their members. And if you're ready to walk away, this is the time to do it. But I mean, the more time we spend with gyms being closed, we're going to see faster and faster advancements in technology for online coaching. And so the better that tech gets, I think the more likely people are to stay home. So it really depends. Like if everything comes back up and they don't shut everything down again, I think gyms are fine. If it shuts down again and again, then I think we're going to see some leaps in tech. I've already started seeing some stuff. I had someone get me on a call the other day and show me some online coaching stuff where I was like, oh fuck, that didn't even cross my mind that would be possible. And
interesting.
So there's some really smart people doing some really interesting stuff, because some people are going, yeah, this is the future. And they're sitting at home and they're not doing all the stuff they're normally doing. So they're like, I'm just going to develop this tech. Like, okay, cool. So anyways, that's my long rant on what I don't know is going to happen. But
and that's I didn't articulate it very well, but that's what I'm talking about, giving some grace and reaching out to those gym members. Is a gym, I don't think that necessarily the small gym and the boutique gyms are going to go all online or all in person. I don't think it's an either or. I think the ones that really do are going to thrive in this environment, regardless of what happens, is a hybrid of both. Like if you've got members that don't feel comfortable going to the gym, find a way to serve them. There's tech out there. There's services that you can do. Just because it may not be comfortable, like shit, man. Like CrossFit wasn't comfortable the first time I went. It wasn't for anybody. So be okay with that. And just start advancing that ball forward and come from the mindset of how can I help? How can I serve these guys? Instead of just walking away from them. And whether you're going to eat the $100 or $150 that they're paying in memberships, the 150 may not be worth the time that it takes to actually develop the tools for one member, but that's not the case for 10 or 20 or 100.
Yeah. Early in this, I was pushing an idea that I haven't been pushing as much recently. One of the reasons is because we actually haven't had that many gym owners come to us. So, which I was surprised. What I do have is a lot of coaches. Like the gym owner's not coming to me, but the coaches of the of the gyms are coming.
Right.
To me. So, which actually kind of sucks for the gym owner, because they're about to lose some of their top coaches if the coaches are learning how to run their own business. And I've always been encouraging gym owners to be more of a coach and sell less gym memberships, sell more coaching.
Mhm.
Because coaching is valuable and gym memberships are seen as cheap.
Right.
So every gym owner, every CrossFit gym owner has heard, oh, that's an expensive gym membership. It's like, it's not a gym membership, dummy. It's a coaching. You're buying coaching. Like,
Right.
and so, and if you're buying coaching, it's actually cheap. $200 a month for
Yes.
coaching? Kidding me? So,
Yep.
like a large part of what I started pushing in the beginning was, hey, if you're a gym owner, build out some coaching packages that could be delivered online. There's curriculum, there's accountability, there's Zoom calls. You could have a weight loss challenge running over here, or, oh, if you're a weight loss client, then here's some nutrition stuff. Like, you have this opportunity to build out all this stuff that could be delivered online. And then
Right.
when the doors open back up, that's just part of your offering now. And I even had some gym owners asking me, like, should I charge extra for this? I'm like, no, 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 no. Your gym members are paying money. Just
Mhm.
make this part of the membership. And now it's part of the membership from now on. So that when you open your doors back up, if you have a weight loss client, when they sign up, they get this weight loss online curriculum. They have access to a Slack channel or a Facebook group where they're getting support from the coaches. They're getting all this stuff. And so I'm shopping for gyms. Say I'm shopping for CrossFit gyms. I go down the road and I get access to, these hours of classes. But over here, I get access to hours of classes plus a nutrition program. And there's a weight loss or a weight gain or a performance track like that. There's all these tracks for different types of
Right.
clients. Fuck, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the one that has that hybrid model, that there's so
Right.
much value being offered 24/7. I got support when I need it, not just in the gym. That's what I'm going to choose. So, like, for a gym owner who's just sitting and waiting for the gym to open back up,
Oh, it's
that's
bloody.
just, yeah, like, you're in fucking trouble, because
Right.
the guy down the street's going to do what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And then they're going to blow by you. This is a huge opportunity. And people who are going, woe is me right now, that's just you're not helping yourself out. Like, see the opportunity in this, create something. And the best way to create something is to ask your clients what they want.
Right.
Get your gym members on the phone, find the ones that have been with you the longest, the ones that have spent the most money with you, the people who show up the most consistently. What can I do for you? Like, where do you need help? Like, what is your, like, when we get out of this crisis, like, what do you want your body to be like? What do you want? Is there any changes you want to make? And actually coach them, go, okay, these are the things they want to improve. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help create a program and a plan for you to reach those goals. That's not happening in most gyms. Like, most gym owners think that coaching is having a cheerleader in front of a room telling people to go faster and telling them that there's only 5 minutes left on the clock. That's cheerleading. That's not coaching.
Yeah.
They like, let's get involved with our clients and actually help them reach their goals. And so this may be a new concept. And if what I'm talking about, you don't feel like you're doing it, well, that's why we do what we do. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Start doing.
getting me
Start
all
doing it.
fired up.
No, I love it. I love
I'm
it.
gonna drink less coffee.
The things that you said though, I can definitely feel that it could be intimidating to some of these, whether it's coaches or owners, because you start making this laundry list of all of these things that your members do. I want to go back and stress the thing I said at the beginning of this show is our North Star is to help the affiliates that we work with, the gym owners that we work with. Does it help? So any idea? So when we're interviewing our gyms and their coaches, right? So we do the same thing. Does it help? Will it actually help? Because just because one or two people say, "Hey, I want this," that doesn't mean that it's actually going to help them. Okay. So really give that some consideration, but don't be scared to write that list down. Like when people say, I want this, and you'll start feeling those vibrations and it'll be like, oh, hey, more than one person wants this. Okay. Now, does it help? Do I have the capacity to do it? And a lot of times it's not until you get 4 or 5 people talking about it that you start finding out that the tasks or the technology that it takes to actually execute on delivering that type of service to somebody isn't near as intimidating as what most people think.
Yeah.
But you have to start with the why, and you have to ask your members, like you said, what do you need? How can we serve you better? Or how can we serve you better than we have in the past? Or how can we serve you in today's environment? And then just
Yeah.
listen.
I think one of the issues I recognize in coaches when we start having that conversation with them about going and talking to their clients, about their goals and all that kind of stuff is they have a hard time seeing, they're removing the lens of the gym and the equipment. It's like, there's like, they can't see through that. I'm like, forget the gym, forget the equipment, listen to what they want and see if you can deliver it without it. Come from nothing. If you can come with an empty mind. All those people hear this kind of stuff, but like come with it, assume you don't have a business, assume that you don't have any of that stuff. Now, if you can look through that lens where that doesn't exist, there's all these solutions. But what I find that a lot of coaches have a hard time with, I also see it where people, they do the same thing with their certifications. Like they're looking through the lens of their certification. It's like, I'm going to get you results with CrossFit. I'm like, or like you could use all the other things, that aren't CrossFit to help your clients reach your goals. Like, but I know you're in love with it, but it's the conversation we get into it with the strong coaches. Like one of the biggest issues I see with coaches is they're in love with their product. Mm-hmm. So your product, forget it. I don't care what your certification is. I don't care any of this. I want to know who your clients are and what they want. It's not about you or what you know. It's about like what you can do for them. And so when you start looking at your clients that way, all sorts of possibilities come in, ideas come in, creativity comes in. But if you're like, I don't know what to do, and you got your hands on your head, then more than likely you have yet to remove that lens.
Yeah. Man, it's so amazing that I stumbled on CrossFit, because I finally uncovered a truth of mine about 6 months ago. I'll share this with you. One of the problems I have with the supplement industry is every company, every CEO makes it about them or their product. That's no different than a coach or really training, coaching, certifications. It's really no different. And that's one of the struggles that I always had about being visible in this industry is I don't believe that. I mean, supplements are commodities, right? There's really only 2 or 3 good manufacturers of micronized creatine in the United States. So it would be disingenuous of me to say I make the greatest fucking creatine on the planet. Everybody else's sucks. Like, but that's the mindset that so many of these supplement companies have, and that I see it with coaches and gym owners also. And what you said is so true of, strip away the product, strip away the brand, and just look at them. And I've tried to do that from day one of taking a look at the gym owner and say, look, if what I teach is very agnostic, and I use that term just regarding business. I don't ever get into politics or religion. But
so boring.
Oh, it's so boring. Yeah, it's just no, I'm just taking a nap. Yeah, I am quite lame. It comes with age, I think, Mike.
No, man, I get nervous around those topics too. It's like, because the truth is, it's probably not helpful to talk about it. It's like just not helpful.
No, you're not going to change anybody's mind, or
anytime soon.
Them. Or enlighten them either way.
No.
But just in terms of what we teach and what a gym should teach, like I teach retail. I teach gyms how to sell products to their members who the members are consuming these products. The members want the business to be successful. So I just happen to have a product that fits into that equation. But the way that we come about it is I don't teach you how to sell Driven Whey over any other product. In fact, I get that question all the time. What's the difference between you and X? I don't know. I don't know shit about those guys.
Yeah.
I make a good product. It's third party certified. All the raws are certified. GMP.
That's why we get along. It's like, I'm doing my thing. I don't really know. People are like,
yeah,
what's going on with those guys? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what they sell. I meet people a lot of times and I'm like, what do you do? I don't fucking know.
So here's a funny story about keeping the blinders on. Do you remember our first conversation?
I don't know. I mean, what did we talk about?
Okay. So, can I share that? Is that all right if I do that?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see where it goes.
I would post nudes online if
You have, Mike.
All right, let's be.
You were redlighting your butthole last week. I saw that. You were redlighting your butthole last week.
I'm an open book. Yeah.
All right. So, Kurt introduced us, set up a call, and during our call, I actually said, well, Mike, this was early on in the conversation. I said, Mike, I'm not sure that we would probably be a good fit, and as far as, because we were talking about whether or not I was going to go on Barbell Business, the podcast. And I said, Mike, genuinely, I'm not sure that it would be a great fit, because the way I understand it, and I'm not going to say this of my company because I don't even know. I'm surprised they still exist, but they do. But early in the stages of Shrugged, you had a sponsorship from the company. And I actually said, I said, well, Mike, like, I listened to your podcast. It sounds like you're sponsored by the Subma company. We're actually in the same space, and I wouldn't want to do something that's going to be a conflict of interest. And you said, wait a minute, dude, like, what podcast did you listen to? And I said, well, I listened to the most recent. I sorted it. And he said, and you said, dude, you listened to episode number 2.
Yeah.
He said, you said, he said, those guys couldn't pay me enough to come on my show anymore. Trust me. He said, but you got my attention. What do you fucking do again?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was our first conversation.
I actually avoided sponsorships for years because of that, because of I had my first experience of sponsorship was so poor, and I got over it. It's pretty sweet now. Well, you know, I learned so many lessons on who I hang out with.
Right.
Like in the beginning in business, when you first getting started in business, and if you're getting a lot of attention, like I was getting a lot of attention, and there was just a lot happening. Yeah, but now, like, man, if I'm hanging out with somebody or I'm promoting a company, it's because I know the people, I believe in the product, it's awesome, and I'm probably friends with the CEO or whatever, and
Right.
I just know that the company is solid. And then, but for every super solid company that comes through, there's another 9 where it's like, oh, like this is icky.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Yeah, doesn't feel good. But yeah, so that's an example of having on blinders. I'd never heard of any, like, I never listened to podcasts. I didn't know what was out there. I didn't know any other business consultants. All I did was I focused on, okay, if you are a gym owner, what do you need to know about supplements, and what do you need to know about retail in order to be able to successfully create a business unit? So that's really all I did for the first 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, this is brilliant. You're a really good entrepreneur because what you're doing is you're solving a problem. You identified a problem in the market that was not being solved by anybody else, or at least not the way you're doing it, not as well. And you actually solve the problem. And the focus is on solving the problem, which means that no matter what happens, you're good. Like, if you want to have a sustainable business that's pretty robust when hard times hit, is if you're always in this problem solving mode, and not, I think some people hear this and go, oh yeah, you know how to solve your own problems. I'm not talking about solving the problems in your business. I'm talking about solving the problems for your customers, and your customers are the gym owners. And so and this is something I really try to instill in everybody really deep, is you're here to solve someone's problem. You know, as a coach, their problem is that they have a goal that they have not been able to reach for whatever reason. You're going to help remove whatever's blocking them from reaching that goal and giving them the tools to move there quickly. But that's a problem that you're solving. And the coaches that are having a hard time right now, they weren't solving a problem before. They were selling a product. Right. And so or a service. And so it's just, but the ones that are doing really well, they were solving a problem, and they had a relationship with their clients before this hit. And we had clients, gym owners, that moved 100% of their members online. Not one person fell off, and then they added more. And now we're building this whole online thing. It's like, okay, but here's the thing is for the gym owner to start caring about their clients now, it's too late.
It's too late, dude.
It's too late. Yeah. Like, you missed the boat. You had to start like 6 months ago, but but we can learn from this. Like, if you're listening to this and you go, wow, man, I did miss that boat. It's like, it's okay. Like, you only have the rest of your life to do it better. And it's always a lesson. And I've missed a lot of fucking boats. Like there's, I've been standing on the dock, scratching my head, wondering if I was late, and I most definitely was. So, uh, I fucked up all sorts of shit. So like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, just get over it, move on, but learn the lesson.
Learn the lesson.
That's
Yes.
yeah, that's one of the things that I try to every interview is that I've ever had. Been an entrepreneur for 2.5 decades. Look, I can teach you how to do anything that it takes for you to do your job. What I can't teach you how to do is give a shit. And if you don't
Mm.
give a shit, trust me, you're not going to work here very long, and you're going to be miserable during the time that it is. So if you genuinely, if you're just sitting here blowing smoke up my butt, let's just part friends and move on, because I'll sniff it out, and you won't be here very long. And the time you are here, it's going to be really awkward for you. So but it having those conversations, and having those conversations like what you're doing with these owners is like, look, learn from that. And more than anything else, it's not the coaching, it's not anything else, it's care about the people that you're serving.
Yeah.
And Ziegler said it so well: you can have everything in life you want if you can help enough other people get what they want. And
Dude, a
that just
Ziegler quote. I love it.
just what goes, it's a true story.
I actually referenced Zig Ziglar on a podcast I was on last night.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I had lunch with the guy in Salina, Kansas. Him and the redhead, before they passed. Well, obviously before they passed away. I think it would have been about 95 or 98, something like that. So yeah, they were in Salina,
Yeah.
Kansas, giving this talk, and it just so happened they sat down and had lunch. They were sitting right across the table. So I've got this old. I was wearing this suit. I had a white shirt with a tie. Like I was dead ass broke. I had no business wearing a tie.
Dude, I the years I wore suits when I was the most broke. like the more money I've made, the more I'm like, yeah, it's jeans and a t-shirt kind of day. Fuck
That's
that.
if you get out underwear. Yeah.
That's right. It's like, I'm not wearing any bottoms right now, folks. So
here's what's fascinating. If you're a Zig dude, did you hear that someone bought the rights to Zig Ziglar, all of his talks, all of his imagery from his family foundation, and now they're going to create a holographic projection of Zig to give talks? That is unbelievable, because
I want to see this.
Yeah, so they changed the foundation, because so much what he taught 30, 60 years ago, or however long it was, is so relevant today, but it's so rare today.
He's a wisdom guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
wisdom is timeless, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so fascinating that they're turning everything he did, or everything that they could pull, into a holographic images. They started that project actually 2 years ago, if memory serves.
Yeah, I think they're doing the same thing with Tony Robbins, because he's they don't know how much longer his voice is going to last.
Right.
But I don't know if it's ever the same. I grew up riding around with my dad, and my dad worked construction, and he owned his own company, and he would take the Zig Ziglar cassette tapes, and we'd be driving around in the F-150. And I remember he got that. It was a 1992 gray F-150 with a ladder rack on top, the carrying all the gear. And we would drive around from job site to job site, and a Zig Ziglar tape in there. And I thought it was so corny at the time. And now I'm like, fuck, man, I should have been paying more attention. Like a lot of the stuff that I hear now, I'm like, that's a Zig Ziglar thing. What was I at? I missed out. Like 20 years of my life, I was in the dark, and it was just right. I don't know, maybe it hit me subconsciously, and that's why I actually turned it around after 20 years. Who knows?
No doubt it did. I think I was probably 19 when I started reading Zig books and listening to the audio tapes. And still today, like, I don't listen to the radio. I just put on an audio book, and I really don't. A lot of them I don't even listen to. I just absorb it. And it's amazing. I'll be in a conversation and I'll say something, and be like, that sounded really fucking smart. Like I don't actually, do I know that, or did I hear that somewhere? Where did that come from?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have to give my my parents a lot of credit, because not only did I get Zig Ziglar, but they sent me to a Dave Ramsey seminar when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
And so even though I understood, I was able to logic or to absorb the knowledge,
Mhm.
my application was really poor. and money management for a long time. But the thing is as I've gotten older and I've gotten just better at managing myself and managing my money, is like a lot of the stuff is just stuff I know I should be doing type of
Right.
thing. And the fact that I was sitting in that seminar is probably what gave me this whole understanding of money that I see that most people don't have, whether I was putting it to use or not. But now it's like, so it's a really great foundation. To any parents out there, keep teaching the kids. It may not look like it's sticking, but I imagine that at some point they'll be like, ding, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. When my kids, each of my two oldest boys, so we have four kids, right? So we have Elliot's 19, Peyton is 16, baby girl Lauren is 11, and Lakin is 6. When they each hit teenage years, I would pay them $100 to read the Benjamin Franklin. I think it's called A Life. Ron Chernow wrote it. There's been some really enlightened human beings that have walked this earth: Da Vinci, Jesus, and I would put Franklin and Einstein right there on those. So if you haven't read Franklin: A Life, get it out there and listen to
A
it.
Life.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin. I think it's called. So it's confusing too, because I listened to and I read all the founding stories: Washington, Franklin, Jefferson, Hamilton. That dude was brilliant. If you ever studied that freak show,
Yeah.
good Lord, that dude was brilliant. But Franklin: A Life, I think that he's one of the most enlightened humans to walk the planet. Amazing
Yeah.
book.
It was by Walter Isaacson, An American
Isaacson,
Life.
yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
An American Life. Benjamin Franklin, An American Life. Walter
There you go.
Isaacson, I love. I haven't read that one, but that guy, he
So good.
really good author. Really good
Yep.
author. He did
Yep.
the Steve Jobs as well. That was the first one I read by him, and I was like, oh shit. Page
So
Turner.
yeah, so why I got onto Isaacson was because I wanted to read all the books that Isaacson wrote. Einstein, Franklin, I think Nothing Like It on Earth was another book. I wanted to read the books that Steve Jobs came to the conclusion, hey, I want that guy to write my book. So yeah,
That makes sense. Oh, that now I'm like, shit, man. I'm about to go drop a couple $100 on Amazon now.
I'll send it to you.
Oh.
I'd be proud to send it to you.
Well, I don't know my address yet, so I'll let you know.
Okay, deal. No, but it's an amazing book. Anybody out there that teaches so much about perspective, about humility, and more than anything, I think it teaches about the importance of taking advantage of a situation, of the moment in time with the people you're with. Because it just so happened, like, these amazing enlightened human beings were in the same space, on the same country, at the same time as these things were taking place. What in the world? How could the universe come together to bring these humans together? And everything pivoted basically around Franklin. I mean, by the time they came around, he was 60 or 70 years old, but he had built the relationships and he had the patience and the foundation to where, when the time was ready, a lot of his initiatives were executed by the relationships that he had. So
what a way to learn patience for like such an ambitious young people.
Yes.
I know I've had a lot of impatience in my youth, and I'm 38, and it's good. It's like, oh, he was 60 when a lot of things came to fruition. It's like, oh, it helps me relax a little bit and not be so hard on myself and all that. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, interesting.
Have you had more time to reflect the last couple months?
Honestly, no.
No,
I haven't. No, the last couple months have really been a struggle, personally, because like I said at the beginning of our call, I poured so much into the last 9 weeks, knowing, like, this window opens only so far in terms of where our company is, where our clients are, where their clients are, and the things that we can do to help. So if I would have sat back on my ass for 60 days and said, well, maybe we can do this, we wouldn't be where we are today as a company. And the gyms that we work with, which is more important, they wouldn't have that revenue going back to them. And hopefully when the doors do open, the foundation of that revenue of retail will kick in gear. So I hope that we're positioned well for the next 30 days to 90 days.
Sounds like you were driven by opportunity. It was like, oh, we have a finite window to to really look at this as an opportunity and position ourselves well. Is that accurate?
Yeah. It really, the window only opens for so long, and you're going to pass, that time's going to pass if you're lucky to be able to get to the end of that window, if you're still part of this planet. But what you do between point A and the end time is, and that's why, like, no, I haven't had time too much to reflect. I've just been working my ass off, and I've been pushing people really hard to make sure. But things are winding down. We're hitting our stride in terms of the warehouse has never run smoother. Our direct communication with customers has never been better. So it's worth it. I don't mind working in sprints.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the most I've worked in years. Uh, it doesn't really have to be that much work for that to happen. But what have you, so your business has improved.
Mhm.
Your systems are more solid. The people are, it sounds like communication's better, all these things you just said. What have you learned in the last couple months that you about business or people in business?
Today, good question. Today isn't as important, or a certain situation or a certain interaction isn't as important as what we think it is. So don't overreact, have a cool head, give people some grace, allow them to be in a shitty fucking mood sometimes. Don't escalate things one way or the other, because just because you create a massive amount of passion in one moment doesn't mean that that's not going to get watered down, and either they're going to be disappointed the next day at the outcome, or you will. So just having some patience and just letting things just kind of flow where they need to go. That's one of the things that I've learned.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything else you want to leave everyone with?
No, I think that's it. Actually, I take it back.
I knew it.
So
I
yeah,
knew there was something else.
no, because you did this when we were in San Diego. You go, is there anything else you want to say? Oh shit. So if you're interested in Driven Nutrition, true story. Go listen to the podcast from 4 years ago. Mike leaned back. He goes, "There you go."
Well, I was going to ask you more directly if it didn't come up, but yeah.
No. So if you are interested in Driven Nutrition, or if you want to learn more, you can find us on Instagram, drivennutrition.com. You'll get there. You can check us out. Just feel free. Our messenger, our DMs are wide open. If there's anything that we can do, we're an open book. If we're not a good fit, we'll tell you. If we are, we'll set up an onboarding call. We'll schedule that. Yeah, I'd love to hear from anybody. But dude, I'm so grateful for being on the show. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, grateful to have you. Thanks for dropping so much knowledge and wisdom. I know a lot of people got a lot out of it. I did. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Mike. See ya.